consignee drives. You've been located and are instructed to surrender.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. This is James, and let's go over a little bit about that ending, Rick and Michonne ending. Rick escaping, Michonne searching for Rick. There's a lot of little clues and things to pick out between the boat, the helicopter, what Rick is wearing, the time frame that it's all taking place, the mirroring or callbacks or similarities in some of the scenes. But of course, both of them are writing. Michonne is writing in a journal, it seems. She's writing about talking to Judith, like she's talking to Judith. I know you're there and your brother. I'm out of range of the radio. And Rick's writing a letter that he's putting in a bottle that we'll see. They're both at a little campsite alone, you know, either looking for each other, Rick trying to get out, Michonne trying to find Rick, you know. So there's a lot of similarities just in what they're both doing. They're both sitting there at a little campsite, at a little fire. They both have bags. She has the bag that he's actually kind of packing up with his boots and the phone and throwing on the boat. There's a lot of things going on right here. And of course, what Rick is doing is in the past. You know, that boat eventually washed up on Virgil's Island, down south, down the coast. So Rick's part is in the past, not sure exactly how many years. If it's around the time maybe the scientists got to Virgil's Island and stuff, maybe had a connection with the boat, those scientists that were on Virgil's Island that Michonne left with. Back then in that scene, it seemed like those people didn't know about the boat. Maybe they were already there with Virgil. I don't know if they came back down on the boat or somebody else brought the boat. But someone did point out the way the currents go and stuff. The boat wouldn't necessarily drift down and back up toward DC, toward that island. So it does seem like somebody did take the boat. But you can look at their campsites, the bags. Of course, it shows the boots at Rick's, and you know, that bag, something he took when he escaped or something. He definitely got off the helicopter with Jadis. They treated his wound. He's probably in a facility like Silas and those other young people that were killing walkers, drawing them in with music and World Beyond. You had to see World Beyond to see that part. It's a cool little thing they were doing, actually trying to get rid of the walkers. So not just the weapon that Rick has matches up with the culling facility that Silas was at, but also the jacket. Silas was wearing that jacket as well. So that does point toward Rick being at one of those facilities, luring in the walkers. And when the helicopter said the word consignee, you know, that may have some reference to that as far as his job at that place. How did he escape? Where exactly was he? There's so many questions in all of this, a lot to unpack. You've got Michonne's campsite too. She's got the bag, the boots and everything. So a lot of similarities going back and forth. Of course, they're both writing. Like I say, Rick put his in the bottle, another way to try to communicate to somebody. And the bag, throwing it on the boat, you know, maybe that was just a little bit extra. Maybe he was really taking the bag and was trying to get away, but he was already barefoot, like, I'm going to write this note and put it in a bottle and throw it in the water. That's one way I could connect with somebody. Okay, then I'm going to put the boots and the phone in this bag and throw it on the boat right before the helicopter gets me. Because he knew, you know, some people ask, why is he sitting out in the open? Maybe he knew he was going to get caught. There's no way. The helicopter voice even says, you know, there's no way out for the living kind of thing. Like, he doesn't have an easy way out, but he could maybe get a message out. So one, he tried with a bottle. Two, he tried with throwing the bag on the boat, hoping, you know, or maybe he knew somebody was going to take that boat. Maybe he even knew the person that was going to take the boat. That person was just well hidden and the helicopter didn't know about them. People ask who wrote Japanese and drew the photo of Judith and older Judith, really, and Michonne. I still think that's Jadis. I still think that points to Jadis, but it could be somebody entirely that we haven't even met yet that's helping Rick. So the skyline of the city behind him, that should be Philadelphia. You see the blown up bridge. You see the walkers in the water. That's so mirroring back to season 9, episode 5, where Rick, the bridge blew up and he washed up on the bank and there's walkers all in the water. So that's definitely a mirroring thing. You've got the boat there, of course. That's the boat Michonne found the bag on. We see Rick throw the bag onto the boat. You know, is there a connection to the scientist? Who took the boat? Did it just drift? That seems highly unlikely. A lot of questions about the boat. How did he escape? You know, lots of questions, lots to unpack. In the helicopter, you know, I don't think the person in the helicopter was Major General Bill, but the voice, I think, could be talking about General Bill to Rick. Here's what the helicopter voice said. The voice said, "Consignee Grimes, you've been located. You are instructed to surrender. Remain in place with your hands up." And then a more relaxed, "Come on, Rick. It's like he told you." He could be meaning Major General Bill. "There's no escape for the living." And those are pretty big words, no escape for the living. You know, Rick's in a pretty bad place. But what does that consignee mean? It might have been brought up in the live video that I did after the finale, or in the comments, I can't remember, but it's definitely been brought up and talked about. What does that mean? Because if you look at the definition, a receiver of goods, the buyer, you know, if no matter what it is, a piece of art or a toaster, one's the seller, one's the buyer. The consignee is the buyer. You would call that. The consignor would be the seller. And that there's not a lot of other definitions for that. So that is a mystery. You guys can let me know what you think about it and what you think it means or could mean. And Michonne on that horse. I mean, yeah, it's a little funny if you want to think of it that way, but I think it's badass. It's badass in that world. She's an apocalyptic warrior. That's pretty cool with a katana. So as she's riding into the horde, and I know I said it maybe in the live thing or in the comments already about it being all walkers, but it seems, you know, after talking to some people in the comments, the best idea is that is her group down there, maybe in the middle, and on each side is walker, like a walker horde surrounding her group, and she's riding in to help them. So she's not riding through or into just a humongous walker horde. You know, the conclusion is between several of us is that the best idea, she's going to help out that group that she's with. So she's not necessarily alone, or maybe she had split off from the group, but she comes up upon them again and she's going to go help them. You know, I don't think it's another group or anything like that. If the group in the middle is a group and not walkers, it's definitely her group and she's going to help them, I think. So hopefully there's a big budget on this and there's some really cool, badass stuff. So let me know what you think about it all or any other little details I missed down in the comments below, and I'll join you there. This is James in Nashville. As always, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more dead stuff.